Don't care how long you've been in the sales game. At some point, all of us have this moment where we look in the mirror and we ask ourselves, can you make another sale? Are you going to get another one over the finish line? We start to wonder, did the game pass us by? Am I doing something wrong? Can I compete? And we all have to work through this moment to get to the other side. And this video is about how to get past that thought of, I'll never close another deal. So, look, I wanted to make this video because about once every 3 months, I'll be talking to my wife. I'll be reading my book before bed, and she'll be doom scrolling. And I'll start looking at her and saying, look, I'm just not sure what I'm going to be able to sell. My pipeline is thin. Nobody's calling me back. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to hit my goals this year. And she'll take her ear pods out and she'll look at me and say, you'll figure it out. You always do. Then she'll put them right back in and go back to watching her video. And that's because she's been through this cycle with me for 16 years now, that it's just part of the game where there's going to be some moments where you feel like it's never going to happen. Then there's going to be moments where you feel like you're drowning. Now, I recognize that for you watching this video, you may be in a couple of different places. You may be early career, in which case the feeling's very different. It may be, I feel unproven. I'm not sure how to get over this hurdle and have the confidence. You may be mid career or late career, and you may be in a slump. And what I want to do is walk through the framework for all of you on how to get past that thought of, I'm not sure I'll be able to make another sale. First things first, we have to get past the emotion of the feeling that I'm never going to make another sale. And let's try and break it down into some tactical things that you need to be doing. And then if you're doing those, then it really is all just mindset. So there's a couple of truths I want to point out. First, you might be in a slump because you're not doing the fundamentals. And those fundamentals would be, make sure you have a sales system on how you're identifying pains, how you're going to walk somebody through the sales process, because you might be feeling you'll never make another sale again because you don't know how to get someone to buy from you. And if that's the case, you need to have a sales coach that's going to show you what that looks like and how to get a buyer on the phone and talk to them and help them understand what their pains are so that they'll want to buy from you. Because if you don't know how to do that, you are going to have a very difficult time getting over the hump. Now, if you have a sales philosophy, you may not be doing the basics that you need in order to fill up your pipeline. You may not be building out your list. You may not be doing the necessary outreach so people know who you are. You might not be qualifying people correctly so that you're only working on the right deals. So, first things first, it's like playing basketball. You have to make sure your footwork is good. If your shot's off, focus on your footwork, focus on your stroke. And then once you make sure that you're doing the fundamentals, the shots will start to fall. Now, if we're doing the fundamentals, there's some other reasons why you might be having struggles. Second, you may be trying to do too many things and you may be spreading yourself too thin. So if you are working a list and you are calling a lot of people and you are doing your outreach and you do have a sales strategy, you may be having a problem because you're trying to call plumbers, nonprofits, manufacturers, truckers, and you're not actually putting enough pressure onto one thing to make inroads and get traction. You may be saying, well, I'm going to make cold calls and be a social media superstar, and I'm going to do drop-ins and mailers, and I'm going to get into all these associations. And you may be trying to do too many things in order to actually get traction. So you need to focus yourself. It helps a lot to have one thing that you do better than everybody else and make that your hallmark. So for me, what has really worked is I do a lot of social services and I'm best in class at that. So if I ever need to get back on track, I'm calling group homes for the intellectually and developmentally disabled, home health, and nonprofits because I know that. And I know that if I sit down and make 200 cold calls in a week, I'm going to get some appointments and I'll follow it up with emails. And that's my system. I can always go back to that. But if you don't have that one thing you're best at with your method to get in there, you can get lost sometimes. And then when you get out there, your pipeline's dry and you're not sure who to talk to and how to get in front of them. it can really feel like you're lost at sea. So when people feel lost at sea, they'll start looking for lifeboats and they'll start saying, well, hey, I'm seeing this guy's doing great at LinkedIn. This guy's doing great at cold calls. And this guy's saying that I should sell based on BOR. And this guy's saying I should do timeline of services. And once again, you get into trying to copy too many people. And the thing is, yeah, all of these people have had success. They probably all have something to teach you, but you need to pick one and you need to copy that person. Here's the way I like to think about it. Kobe Bryant didn't try to be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He didn't try to be Oscar Robertson. He didn't try to be Magic Johnson. He copied Michael Jordan. Like, just look at the footage of those guys right next to each other. It's almost identical, but he tried to be one thing and he was relentless about that one thing. So much in the same vein as you can't be the best at LinkedIn and cold calling, and you can't be the best at contractors, manufacturing, trucking, and nonprofits. There's just no way. You're lying to yourself. You need to focus on one strategy and one model. And once you perfect that model, you can add on to it, but you have to perfect that model. Otherwise, you'll just be jumping from lifeboat to lifeboat in the middle of the ocean and getting more and more lost at sea. You got to pick one way to get out. Now, if you're doing all those things, let's say you have an established book of business. Let's say you've had a lot of success in the past, and maybe you just had a dry spell. This happens to the best of us. And the hardest thing to believe is that I'm doing everything right, but the outcomes aren't what I would want them to be. And see, this is a part of human psychology you just need to identify in yourself. And this is truth number 4, right? Is that we want to tie actions to outcomes, and that's not how things work. Sometimes we make all the right decisions and things just don't work out the way that we expect them to. You still have to go through the right process. As long as you're going through the right process, you're building your list, you're making your calls, you've got your sales system, you've got your target class of business where you are the obvious choice. Sometimes you just need to keep going. Like, that's the case it is for me, and that's why my wife rolls her eyes at me, is that I've established all these other things. I know how to get out of the predicament. I just need to endure and have the courage to keep going when it seems like things are going wrong. The thing that is easy to do in that moment is to say, wow, I need to change some things up because this is obviously not working. It's time to blow it up. And that's the wrong decision, especially if you know you have a model that works. But so once you have the model, then you just need to trust the model and that the model is going to work. Now, that's not to say we don't evolve and change and add things to our game. I mean, going back to Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, he added the fadeaway later in his career. And that took him to a whole nother level. We all have to do that same thing, but there's still the core fundamentals that he built off of that made him great. Now, when people start to get into this mind space of, I'll never close another deal again, and their fundamentals aren't locked down, they don't have a sales strategy, and they're not persisting, here's the dangerous mind loop, right? We start to lose confidence. And when we start to lose confidence, we make less calls or we get in front of less people. And then when we do get in front of those people, we don't have the confidence that will close it. And so our close ratio goes down. So now we're calling less people, we're qualifying less of them. That means we're closing even less. And it becomes a death loop for a salesperson. The thing that I say a lot about sales is it's going to punch you in the face until you punch back. It's a really simple thing. You have to keep punching. If you stop punching, it's going to bludgeon you to death. So you have the way out, and I'm going to tell you, this is the way that I've gotten out of it almost every single time, and I don't think there's any magic about it. You go back to the fundamentals, you trust the process, and you get out there and you keep swinging. You stay focused on what you do best. You work on refining what you do best. You you do your homework at night. You learn the classes of business. and then you just keep going at it. Don't stress outcomes so much. Stress the activity, stress doing the right thing, building the list, 40 cold calls a day, mailers. Stay on the things that you can control. You cannot control how people respond to you. You can only control the actions that you take on a daily basis. Now, if you're struggling on some of these things, I've created a number of different videos. I've created videos about how to build a list. I've created videos about cold call scripts and how to qualify and how to be the obvious choice in the space. Check out some of those videos if you're looking for ways to get out of this spiral. And as always, if this was helpful, I really appreciate you watching. If you got any questions, drop them in the comments. I answer everything. Please hit like and subscribe. It helps people like you find the channel. And I'm cheering for you, man. I'm cheering for you guys. So as always, please go build something great.